GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
So, Fat Man.
Oh, hey, Sleazy. I heard that someone is coming back to WWE, and you're looking pretty oily there. I'm pretty jealous someone oiled you up. Can I oil up all your fat rolls?
What? Johnny Ace is back? Well, we can't let that happen on the wrestling show. Welcome, everyone. This is Sleazy.
Oh, this is a Fat Man.
Welcome, everyone, to another wonderful episode. Holy shit. Ryan Williams is with us tonight.
Hey, yo.
Chip is not because Chip a little bitch.
I heard Chip is a fucking mark.
I missed the mark already because I think we're going to need him. So technically, okay, first and foremost, let's get this fucking thing out of the way. An Impact pay-per-view happened.
I have no such knowledge of an Impact pay-per-view happening.
An Impact special event that was
have knowledge of that happening, though.
That was also a pay-per-view.
It was not a pay-per-view.
It was absolutely a pay-per-view. Fuck.
You know what's funny about that? I was doing news and rumors, going back to it. Every single dirt sheet called it a special event.
Yeah, because
Not
Impact,
one of them called it a pay-per-view.
Impact called it a special event.
So if Impact calls it a special event, I'm right, you're wrong, suck a fucking dick, and you can Johnny Ace my cock with all the oil you want.
The
Except
only
fight.
question is, could you have bought that as a pay-per-view? If
No.
you could, it's a pay-per-view. You
Yes.
could have. Fight TV.
Fight TV had it listed as a pay-per-view.
But it wasn't a pay-per-view.
It was also a pay-per-view.
It was not a pay-per-view.
Suck a fucking dick, Johnny Ace.
That's what he's known for. How do you think his voice got this way?
Wow. So tonight we're going to talk very, 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 very quickly about the special event because there's so much.
Get it out of the way with.
Yeah,
Get it out of the way with.
so much happened. We had 3 title changes. The big one was the consolidation match. So the TNA Heavyweight Championship is no more. It's been integrated into the Impact World Championship, and Rich Swann now owns it because he beat Moose.
iPhone.
It lived
Thank
a
you.
fantastic 18 days.
I mean,
When they officially recognized it as a legitimate title, 18 days later, they unified with the Impact title.
yep.
That's the most TNA thing ever.
Thank goodness it's Impact Wrestling now. But that's pretty interesting because now we have the main event set for Rebellion, which is
An actual pay-per-view.
go fuck yourself. We have in one corner the Impact / TNA World Heavyweight Champion Rich Swann versus the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega in a wait, what? I'm not reading this right. Title for title match?
Title for title.
Okay, so I will say this, and we'll probably preview this later on another show, but I was not expecting them to do title for title. I was expecting them to have just a regular match, neither title on the line, and Rich to go over. This kind of changes things because
This sets off Omega and Ibushi.
wait, what?
This is gonna end up being Omega and Kota Ibushi. for all the belts because Omega's going to go on this fucking belt collector gimmick. That's what's going to happen. They're working with New Japan. You're going to see another title versus title match. Like,
that would be the worst.
Yeah.
Because
I disagree.
What do you mean?
No,
You disagree with what Buck's saying or what I say?
Yeah, I think Swan's winning either way.
Yeah, I think Swan has to win because they've made Impact look like a bunch of fucking jobbers.
Tony Khan is not going to let Kenny Omega lose that belt to Rick Fox.
I think it would be more likely that Khan would let it go versus Swan losing it in a smaller company.
It makes more sense for the Impact title to change on an Impact pay-per-view. Swan will probably get it back on another Impact pay-per-view after Omega is like triple champion for so long.
No, it makes more sense for Swan to win the title on an Impact pay-per-view than to lose it on an Impact pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree with that. But the most likely option is there's going to be a schmoz finish where neither person's going to win.
Yeah.
And that's honestly just as stupid as Omega winning. Because once again, you've made Rich Swann and therefore Impact look like a fucking bunch of jobbers. So.
Speaking of making Impact. So like, okay, so when Finn Juice wins the tag belt from the Good Brothers, does that make Impact look bad?
Yeah. Absolutely. A tag team that's not even on your roster wins your tag title belts? Fuck you. I mean, against,
I know we're not doing
against the team.
I'm doing facial expressions like, yeah, this is common sense, Ryan. You should know this. Like,
really? You know, but against the tag team,
they've done that in their history. When you think about when they had the junior heavyweight tag team titles there, when it was TNA, like TNA working with New Japan, this is kind of what happens. Like a New Japan superstar or a tag team will end up winning the Impact titles, and it's going to go the other way around too.
Under normal circumstances, I would agree with you, but there's not enough cross-pollination in the rosters yet to do that. And here's the other problem I have with it. The Good Brothers just ran roughshod over the entire tag division Impact. They got beat by a tag team that wasn't even in the company. That's the problem I have with it. Even if it was the Machine Guns, I would still say, oh, okay, that's a little bit better. But to have them basically, oh my goodness, you already have Anderson and Gallows being kind of above the Impact tag division anyway, because they're the big WWE stars that came to Impact, quote unquote. I did the air quotes, forgetting that it's only an audio podcast again. Fuck.
But
God damn
again, now this is just my brain. That to me means they had to get the belts off the Good Brothers anyway. A nice little way to make the relationship with New Japan seem worth it, and the New Japan guys are actually going to get somewhere in Impact. That's fine. And now the Good Brothers can even go to AEW.
Well, they were already. They had the tag belts on them
as well as you could have.
oh, you mean using them as people who beat up a handcuffed man in a exploding quote unquote barbed wire match? That's a great use of them.
God fucking damn it.
I'm not in the mood for you to lose your voice tonight. Can we not talk about that, man?
No, that'd be Sleazy. Sleazy's using his voice tonight.
Oh, we will have some fun later, and fun me being
okay. So
rageful.
we talked about it. We'll talk about it in the future. Sleazy and I are smart. Ryan's dumb. We all know this. Well,
wow.
I'm smart. Sleazy can be. Ryan's dumb.
I may disagree with how they might book it, but Buck has a legitimate thought process of how they could do it with Kenny Omega being the best fucking wrestler ever, having every single fucking. It is stupid, but it's a legitimate booking line.
That's to me. See, that's half the foolishness too. Because like I get you guys are a great bunch of guys. We'll call it, and that man probably steps on every fucking Lego ever invented because he's a piece of shit. But I feel half the time you don't look at that stuff just because of your own personal preference. That is perfectly set up in a way for them to cleanly do these things, whether the booking seems right to some of us or not. At least they're putting some thought process in, and they're putting some evolution to the story.
What storylines?
Don't you dare go down that fucking road.
The forbidden door being
That's not a
opened.
storyline. He's just beating everyone. What a storyline that is.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny
Wait,
Omega.
hold on. I'm sorry. I apologize. I said it wrong. Kenny Omega no-selling everything and beating everyone. I'm sorry. My bad. I apologize.
The storyline of you building somebody to be unbeatable until the point that somebody comes on, beats them, and holy fuck. If you're right about the Rich Swann thing, there's a Rich Swann thing right away. If you're not right about the Rich Swann thing, which you're not, because Omega's gone over, this leads to him and Ibushi. This leads to Omega at one point holding 3 titles, looking really good. And every time you hit the top of the mountain, then comes your downfall.
And the downfall is Kota Ibushi? Because you can't have Rich Swann beat him.
Pull the trigger. I figured that if Omega's going to win all 3 of those belts, then he's not going to have them very much longer. Like, once he has all 3, he's not going to be a triple champion like that for a while. It might be a month or 2, and then you're going to see bang, 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 all the belts drop.
Okay, so maybe you are right. You're not, but maybe you're right on that. But I don't think New Japan is just going to let Omega beat Ibushi.
New Japan's never... Well, I will say this.
Especially when they just debuted their new quote-unquote world title.
Yeah, and what a perfect way to debut your world title is put it on somebody that's going to be seen everywhere instead of just the fucking people who have New Japan World and follow it the Japanese way. You put the IWGP World Championship, what they're calling it, on TV now, like under somebody that's a big name in the States, that kind of helps give it more too.
Okay, there's 2 problems with this, but there's a mitigating factor. Number 1 is exactly what Fat Man said. Brand new title. I doubt they're going to let Kota Ibushi lose it after, even if we look at it 3 months from now. He'll only have had the title for 4 months. Number 2 is that New Japan historically has been super, super careful about who they put their top title on.
You mean a belt that Omega's held before? Technically?
Well, technically, he's never held it before.
I'm the main title of the promotion.
I know. Well, that goes back to my mitigating factor. If they would pull the trigger with anyone in any promotion, other than maybe AJ Styles, it would be Kenny Omega. So if they would do it, it has to be Kenny Omega. It can't be Rich Swann. There's no way it would happen with Rich Swann. There might be a small chance that they do it with Omega, but there's 0 chance they'll do it with Swann. And once again, that goes back to my original point, which was you made Impact look like fucking noobs.
Pretty butter.
Yeah. So
I don't think Impact cares how they look at this point. I really don't. Like, they're out there. They're having a little bit of fun.
They're trying to get more people to watch their show.
Which is
and
great.
I get it. Great.
It's popping a rating here and there, but that's it.
But us smarks, I said the word, us smarks are like, they still look like shit.
They do. But maybe they got a grand plan in the works. Maybe they think that the rub is still more than making them look like shit. It might be that they make more money off of this deal in the long run, even if it makes their roster look like shit for a few months. That might be the gamble that they're making.
Maybe.
I'm not sure I agree with that thought process, but it's once again, it's a legitimate thought process.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's continue on to our main segment of the night. So we kind of stole this concept.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, well, everyone
We did this years and years ago.
Not in this format, though. Not in the way we're going to do it tonight. So if you guys are familiar with the YouTube show or the YouTube channel Watcher, they have a show called Top 5 Beatdown, where they have a expert, which is definitely not the Fat Man, along with the host of the show, talk about their top 5 whatevers. So we're kind of stealing that concept, and we're going to do it tonight with the top 5 stables. Now, for this particular one, we wanted to make it very clear that these are going to be what we perceive as favorite stables. If you want to call it the best, you can call it the best, but the point is that these are opinions of what you consider your favorite stables. So we're going to...
not best favorite. Because I know mine isn't the best, but it's just mine is one that I really like growing up for, like just kind of resonated and stuck with me, right?
Right.
Gotcha.
Mine tend to skew towards the best, but there are a couple of, let's just say, not super high top ones.
Well, like to me, I'm like, I tried not to put in DX. I tried not to put in the Horsemen. I tried not to put in the original NWO just because, like, I feel like they're going to be on everybody's list anyway. So I was trying to think back and think of stables that wouldn't normally get talked about, but for some of my picks, you know what I mean? I try to be a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. So we will start with everyone's 5. Now, even though Chip wasn't with us because of the little bitch, he did send Fat Man his list. So he knows, Fat Man knows the list for Chip. And let's start with the little bitch.
Mark's number 5 is Nexus.
The Nexus?
Ooh.
Wow. That's an interesting one. Does he have any explanation about it? Or
He just said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in the episode.
Excuse me. I mean, the Nexus is an interesting choice. It was the stable that could have been. Let's just say. Everyone in there was a talent.
Except Ryback.
Well, I mean, he was the most successful out of all of them, to be honest with you.
Daniel Bryan?
No, fuck him.
Wade Barrett?
No, fuck him. Ryback was the shit.
Yeah, he was. He was the shits.
Good one. You picked that one. Picked up on it. Fat Man, what's your number 5?
So I have an honorable mention.
Of course
you
do.
It was Nexus. Like, it was because what could have been, that shit ran for only a couple months. That shit could have ran for years.
Yeah.
But yeah. But my number 5
is
the Fabulous Freebirds.
Wow. Bad Street USA.
The original version with Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy, and Buddy Roberts.
That's an interesting pick.
I do appreciate you said original version, because one of my stables is like, it's this version of the stable that I like. Not really, and you know what I mean? So I appreciate that part.
Because there was different versions of it. They had freaking Iceman King Parsons in there in WCCW, and really they only had in WCW, they only had Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin. So
they had more people, but they were like managers and stuff. They weren't. But the one in WCW wasn't the stable to see.
No, it wasn't. That's why I didn't add them. It was just tag team.
Yeah, they were just the tag. So, stupid story or stupid question about this. When he was called Doc Hendricks in WWF, when they were with the Hardys, wasn't that called the New Freebirds?
No.
What was the New Freebirds? Because I remember the New Freebirds for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe
I'm looking that up.
Maybe it's something that I made up, but so Ryan, what was your number?
I picked the Odyssey or the Oddity.
Oh, so spoiler, my number 5 is the Oddities as well.
That's amazing. I love, especially being like around that age group too, just being like awkward and stuff like that. I'd watch Rod see them and around dancing and singing and carrying on, and everybody, regardless of like how they were for as a worker and how they looked, like the crowd got really into it, and then they got fucking stables, so I had a good stable and I jerked off. Like,
it's phenomenal though. I mean, I'm always been a John Tenta fan. I didn't even know that was John Tenta at the time.
No, I had to find out after.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool as fuck.
And I feel like that I thought it was just the perfect way to encapsulate just the regular people, the people that weren't, the 6'2", 300-pound wrestler of everybody else in that era. You had John Tenta, who was fat. You had Kurgan, who was tall. You had these thin white boys rapping. It was all this. It was definitely a different stable, and it made for a more inclusive product, honestly.
I got an idea for a stable. Let's put all the shittiest wrestlers together and call them the Oddities.
Fuck you.
And watch it get fuck over.
They were entertaining.
They were entertaining. They were over as fuck at the time.
Yeah.
But they were over as fuck in an era where everything got a huge pop, to be fair. So.
Yes, but you're also looking at that era that we're talking about. It was all shock and awe and sex and violence and all that shit. The Oddities weren't that. They were just this good, wholesome time. Like, they got over when everybody wanted blood and guts, and the Oddities never gave it to them. They still got their fucking over.
Yeah.
Wasn't Sable in there with them? For
a little while. So let's move on to number 4. Let's start with Ryan.
I picked the Dudley family.
Ooh.
EC.
The original ECW.
Oh, yeah. And it was such a mismatch of people, too. Like, it was fucking amazing.
Your favorite Dudley was Big Dick Dudley.
Dances with Dudley or Dudley. But
Dances with Dudley was great. Dances with Dudley was great. I want to point out they were another stable that was made of a bunch of people that didn't really fit the mold of a professional wrestler.
Theme with Ryan.
Mm.
No, they're the only two actually that fit that theme. It's quite funny.
Oh, okay.
Well, fuck you.
I kind of want to change my list now just to see. And it makes me sad that I didn't pick the Union now because I was.
Oh my god, the fucking Union! They were around for what, like 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. They were stable.
I'm waiting.
Who was that? That was Foley, Shamrock, Big Show, and Test.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
With
my
the 2x4.
The Union.
They hacksaw Jim Duggan all over that.
They were only around for 3 weeks. They were shit, and that was every person in the stable.
Wow.
Because I knew with every person in the stable doesn't mean they weren't trash. It was just something for them to do.
I mean, yeah. So let's do Chips, number 4.
The Brood.
The Brood! Get the fuck out of here. Are we talking the original Brood or the new Brood?
Probably the original.
So
I don't even think he knows the difference, to be honest.
Edge, Christian, Gangrel.
That's what you're thinking of. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy were with Gangrel for a little bit.
That's what it was. Yeah, the new Brood. Yeah.
Not the new Freebirds. Yeah.
Because, well, Doc was with them, but they weren't called the Freebirds. That's right.
No,
Okay.
Doc wasn't with them.
Doc was with Matt and Jeff Hardy for a short time.
Yeah, but before.
But they were never called the Freebirds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I got both of those mixed up. That's what happened. Which is fine. Whatever. Yeah, the Brood. Okay, cool. Gangrel spits blood. Edge and Christian become relatively famous after their run in the Brood and then getting Terry Reynolds' tits. What was it? It was like
Terry Invitational Tournament.
Yeah, so the winner got 2 humongous sacks of money. That was a tit joke for all the visual watchers of
which are me and Ryan
right now. Yeah, because they're not going on YouTube as of late. Yeah, it's an interesting pick. I mean, there's major stars that came out of it, but, well, whatever. My number 4 was the Nation of Domination.
You're going down.
Ooh.
I think this might have been colored by the fact that a couple nights ago I was watching the 2 Table for Threes with the Nation. So,
But which nation are you picking? Are you picking them all as a whole? Are you picking like the original or the anti-black or the Rockford?
I'm picking the right after Rocky left. You know, when you had Farouk and Rocky feuding a lot.
Oh, so when The Rock was the leader?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't really
So like with like The Rock, Godfather, D'Lo, and Owen Hart?
Owen Hart, yeah. To be fair, there were a lot of different variations of it. Like the version with Farouk, D'Lo, Godfather, and Mark Henry was pretty good too.
Oh yeah, that was Mark Henry was in that group too.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget Crush. Crush was a member.
I mean,
but that was the original. That's what I mean. The original nation in WWE, right? Like,
I know. Yeah, I was being stupid.
Yeah. So, what was your number 4? Fat
never.
Heart Foundation.
Of course you would.
Yeah.
So, I assume you're talking about the full Owen, Brett,
Owen,
Jim.
Brett, Davey Boy, Pillman. Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. Yep. I mean, what's not to love with that? So many great talent in there.
That awesome Canadian stable with an American and a fucking British person in it.
Yeah, who cares, right? I just want to point out, Muhammad Hassan was Italian. And Yokozuna was Samoan.
And Ryan was skinny. What's your point? It's a work!
God damn, it's always a work. Yeah. I mean, it's a really nice stable. I mean, what can you say about that hasn't been said over the last 20 fucking years?
Uh-huh.
My number 3. You know it was coming. You knew it was coming. The Mexicools, of course.
I love you.
The legendary feud between them and the BWO in 2005.
The legendary bad.
It's legendary. For how bad it was.
Legendary velocity feud, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, they got a pay-per-view match out of it. Fuck off.
Under Juan Deers, yeah, I love this.
Hey, do not mock the Juan Deers.
I'm not. Listen, when SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 2007 came out, I always made myself a little Mexican mask guy, and that was the entrance he got. Was the Mexicools driving the little lawnmower to the ring.
I love it. It was so stupidly comedic, but it had 3 guys that were super, super talented in the ring. But it was played off almost in a lot of the same respects as a lot of lower cards in that realm. Super talented guys, but really they didn't have anything to do with them. So I threw them together, made it racist as fuck. That was their MO at that point. Whatever, but it was fun. It was whimsical. Fuck you. What was your number 3?
Whimsical.
It was whimsical.
It was whimsical.
I'm having a good night here. Fuck off.
My number 3 was The Dangerous Alliance.
Ooh, very nice.
Fucking Rick Rude, Arn Anderson, Stone Cold, Bobby Eaton, Larry Zbyszko. I think they only really ran from like October 91 to like February 92 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Way too short of a run. They could have, another stable that could have ran for fucking years, but didn't because question mark? Oh, I know. WCW.
Because LOL WCW.
LOL WCW.
Yeah. I had something to do with Rude.
What do you say?
I think Rude wanted to be single. Be a single.
I'm pretty sure Rude was not into.
Even though I think at the same time he was the U.S. champ, also was a TV champ. Anderson and Eaton were the tag champs, and there just goes like, huh, I married Vergania's daughter.
I win out of all of you. Ryan, what was your number 3?
Fortune.
Ooh,
What was that?
Fortune.
Fortune.
Oh,
AJ,
wow.
like,
You get the
I
most.
found that they were really good at a lot of things in TNA, just a lot of people forget about. But I thought they were just a really good combination of the guys that they were your originals. You were trying to do something different with them. Throwing Flair as their mouthpiece was really good because Flair could fucking talk anybody into anything. And it just showed that they actually did something right in TNA with some of the homegrown talent.
Interesting. I like the pick. I think it's a great pick. So you get one of my favorite promos out of it too.
Oh my God.
Jay Lethal. Gotta love the Jay Lethal promo. I'm sorry.
I love that promo's good. I think that promo's better if you watch the video about Jay Lethal talking about the promo.
Yeah, that's really good too. Yeah. Number 3 for who am I missing? Chip?
Chip.
Is it Chips?
The NWO.
I mean, somebody had to pick it, I guess. Which version?
The NWO.
The one with Vincent.
So I assume Hogan, Hall, Nash, and
That's it.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure when you're talking about Hogan, I'm assuming it's Horace Hogan. And when you say Hall and Nash, you actually mean like Vincent and
Brian
Scott Norton.
Adams.
Oh, I was going to say Scott Norton, but okay. Brian Adams, perfect.
NWO B team. Listen,
B team? That's generous.
Yo, dog.
that was what they were called.
They were literally called the B team, yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
I call them
When
the
they did NWO Elite and the NWO B team, and they had a battle royal for who the leader of the B team was. Because Hogan told everybody they were the leader, and Stevie Ray won a battle royal.
And then Stevie Ray's reward, getting pinned on one of the worst pay-per-view main events of all time. That Sleazy made me watch. And we did a watch.
That's the worst thing Sleazy made you watch. You were pretty fucking good.
No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't.
I went to a Chikara show. Okay? That was the worst thing Sleazy made me watch.
I don't believe you. I believe that was a good time if you suspended disbelief in fucking professional wrestling.
To be fair, I knew nothing about Chikara. Sleazy had to catch me up on the drive down. And I was so bored. I did alternate commentary during the matches.
Yeah.
It didn't help that where we were sitting, we couldn't see shit. Because Quack wanted that money.
Oh, God, yeah. That was way too... It was too much of a... So, Ryan, did you ever see the return of Chikara in 2014? Did you ever actually see the crowd?
No.
Okay, so what they did was they had like 40 to 50 seats on each side of the ring, except for the entranceway, where he just row after row after row after row of seating. It had to have been like 50 rows deep. And
Because he wanted that money.
yeah, because he wanted the money. The only reason why that he could do it was that the gym was usually cut in half. He opened up the gym door and just kept putting seating instead of making it a little more balanced. He just kept adding seating, and it was just fucking ridiculous and whatever at this point.
But Chikara got that money.
Money. Yeah. Speaking of Chikara, my number 2. You knew it was coming. You really...
Coney.
No. Fuck no. Fist, motherfucker.
Who?
Fist.
Who?
Fist.
Who?
Fist.
This?
the stable featuring Icarus and his shitty back tattoo, Grand Akuma, who you probably don't know, Chuck Taylor, who you might know, maybe, and some little known guy. What is his name? Mr. Takeover. I can't remember his first name. I think it's Johnny something. I don't remember. Johnny Takeover.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Wait, that's a football.
Close. It's something like that. You're fucking ass right. I'm going to pick one of the best stables in the history of Chikara, maybe other than the fucking ant colony. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't like a lot of the stables that were in Chikara. So having fists, obviously trios, obviously they did amazing things over the years. And it's it's a legacy of Chikara.
Mark.
What did Mark pick for his number 2?
I'm calling you a Mark.
Yeah, fuck you too.
DX.
Of course he picked DX. Which version of DX?
I don't fucking know.
The version where he said...
We get to pick. So it's the version where Billy Gunn and China were fighting over the DX name.
Ooh, nice version. I like that version. Not the best version, but I like it.
Or something like that. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Billy Gunn and China, or Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. I don't fucking remember. I don't care.
What about your number 2? You seem kind of agitated.
Evolution.
I don't know what to say to that.
Why?
Evolution?
Yeah.
Because it had Ric Flair in it?
The only reason why, duh. Or that it spawned 4 main eventers. Well, 3, but and then it had Ric Flair.
Triple H was already a main eventer. Flair
Whatever.
was a legend. Orton was already close to becoming a main eventer.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Absolutely. The reason why he was kicked out was because he won the championship.
Okay.
So he was that close to being a main eventer as it is.
It only took him 2 years.
Still, he was part of the group until then.
It took Batista 3.
Yeah, but
You don't know who you're talking about. You just want to bitch.
how big is Batista's dick?
If you don't want to be a Mark, listen to this.
I don't know what to say to this other than my number 1 is the most obvious one. I really think it's the most obvious one because without it, it's not the best one, best version, but the version with AJ Styles being the leader of the Bullet Club. My God. I mean, there's few things better than the Bullet Club. That version was probably my favorite. Having Prince Devitt as the leader was a little before my time. It wasn't bad, but it was just like, okay. I think the stable was at its peak form with Styles as the top leader, honestly.
What was Ryan's number 2?
Oh, Ryan's back. Ryan!
Right. Yeah, I was wondering why, and then I realized I was on mute. So, like,
Yes.
Okay.
Surprise. So, what's your
number 2 was Straight Edge Society. I thought that was a stable that did not get enough time to explode like they could have, and they should have fucking put the tag belts out then. It sucks because I really loved Show Miz, but I think Straight Edge Society should have been the king of the tag belt.
Okay. 2 cool little Easter eggs about that. Number 1, one of the people that got their head shaved by the Straight Edge Society, the same night Serena Deeb got hers head shaved, was local superstar Dewey Murray. One half of a very prevalent tag team here. And the other one is that Adam Cole was in one of the skits featuring Serena Deeb.
The story on that's so funny.
Yeah, it is. It's hilarious. So while you're at it, might as well do your number one as well.
The NWO Wolfpack version. Still to this day, Christmas time, when I was getting my Christmas gifts from the wives and stuff like that, both of them looked at me and said, "What do you want?" Wrestling shirts. And one of the shirts I made sure I get is 2021. I wanted a fucking red and black NWO shirt because they were fucking sick. Yeah. Like, to me, as good as DX was, NWO red and black version was better than DX.
I mean, there's so many different variations of the NWO that were decent to great. There are some very poor versions of the NWO, but everyone had that shirt. You know, everyone had a Wolfpack shirt. Everyone had an NWO black and white shirt, you know, when we were growing up. Unless you're a fucking WWF mark and we're, you know, making gangs about DX and Stone Cold University. you know, I had slipped that in. So let's get Chip's number one and laugh at it, and then get Fat Man's number one and probably agree with it.
Actually, Sleazy, you shouldn't be laughing at Chip's number one.
Because it's the same as mine?
It's the same as yours.
Good, okay.
The Bullet Club.
I mean, the Bullet Club is the Bullet Club, but his version is the post... I would consider the Jay White Bullet Club.
Switch up way, Jay White.
Which I consider the worst version of Bullet Plug. Bullet Plug. There we go. The worst version of the butt plug. That's all I could think about.
Okay.
Fat Man.
What?
What's your number one?
What is my number one, Sleazy?
It's the Four Horsemen.
Of course it is.
Which version, though?
The original Four Horsemen.
So not the best Four Horsemen.
Wow.
The funny thing is, no. Flair, Anderson, Blanchard, and Ole.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I think they were the best Four Horsemen, but performance-wise, take out Ole, put in Barry, and they're the best performance-wise.
I mean, I never thought you could be wrong on a list. But here you are.
I thought it's our personal preference. I thought it's personal preference.
Considering two of us picked the Bullet Club and didn't have Four Horsemen on our list.
I'm the only one with the Four Horsemen on the list.
But, like, the only reason they're not on my list as the generic, like I said, I didn't want the overall NWO. I didn't want to say DX. I didn't want to say the Horsemen because they're just, if you're going to say stables, I was like, they're going to pop up everywhere.
Yeah, and that was the thing about this list in general, is that, I mean, I can easily give you a top five. You know, Horseman's always going to be number one because they paved the way. NWO and DX will be always up there.
Bullet Club, you got to put.
You got to put Bullet Club on there. I mean, so let's get into news and rumors.
No. I want you to rant first.
Oh, you do, huh?
Yep.
Okay. So I follow a lot of people as part of the wrestling show. So Amanda Huber, she had to drop a statement about fucking Smarks.
Wait, she dropped a statement?
Yeah, she dropped a statement.
She had to.
And I'm gonna read it. I've loved pro wrestling my entire life. It's been my world for 19 years now. I still love it more than most things in the world. I try to ignore the shit online, but I see it. I see the snide comments about Brody's, as in Brody Jr.'s, involvement. The use of the word exploitation. It's disheartening. Our world crumbled. AEW has helped pick up the pieces. It's easy to be distrustful of any corporation, and I'd be lying if I didn't constantly think the rug was going to get pulled from under me. It hasn't. Even when I felt like everything was pulled out from under me, this wasn't. Now, they let Brody feel like he was a part of something. Notice there's no storylines involving him. Just him being connected to a huge part of him that's missing. What everyone doesn't see is the other side of social media, is a kid who's carrying so much grief yet so much joy. A kid who's excelling in his therapy. A kid who, despite the worst few months of his life, got 10 A's and 3 B's on his report card last week. On days we go to AAW, you are all missing him doing his schoolwork from a hotel room because going to AAW is a privilege for him. The full statement's on her Instagram. It's in our squared circle as well. Listen up, you fucking smarks. You basement-dwelling pieces of shit who probably haven't taken a shower since Brody died need to listen very clearly here.
Yeah,
This
Dave
kid,
Meltzer.
it doesn't even matter with Dave Meltzer. It doesn't matter if it's Wade Keller. It doesn't matter who the fuck it is.
Because we haven't said fuck Dave Meltzer yet, Sleazy.
Okay,
Come on.
fair. But to have motherfuckers sitting here shitting on this fucking kid who just lost his father is the most disrespectful thing I've probably ever heard in my life. The fact that she had to go on Instagram and talk about how the kid's doing great in therapy because you motherfuckers have to sit here, be toxic like you fucking pieces of shit that you are, have to sit here and criticize a kid who's performing on a YouTube show, which, by the way, she's right, he's not a part of any fucking storyline. What the fuck are you guys doing here? I can't sit here and listen to this horseshit because at the end of the day, I see a lot of what's going on there, and it was mirrored when my father died when I was younger. The shit that was going on then is the same shit that's going on now with her and her family. They're trying to move on with their life, losing a very huge part of it. And to sit here and criticize a company that's basically given them as much as they could in terms of support, emotionally, as well as financially, as well as giving Brody Jr. a couple moments of joy in what will be the worst part of his life for a foreseeable future. He's got to grow up without his fucking father, and you guys are pissed about storylines? You fucking mark pieces of trash. I don't want to hear how and we've talked about this many times on the show. We shit on AEW storylines all the time. We shit on AEW in general sometimes. We shit on WWE, and their decisions and Impact and everything. But the low bar of criticizing a dead wrestler's kid being on TV blows my mind in a way that I don't think I can really describe how angry I am. So I talked to my wife before we did this show because I needed to vent a little bit about it because it just drove me nuts. And this is someone we don't really know. Yeah, he was from Rochester. I've met him once in a pass by. It's not like I knew the family at all. But to see people shit on a fucking company that's helping a family of a wrestler that's died is just mind-blowing. You didn't see this happening when Vicky Guerrero came in the company. You didn't see this when, frankly speaking, when you've got David Benoit, who can't even go into professional wrestling because of what happened with his father. Just because you have 15,000 figurines on the wall and mark belts that you got from WWEshop.com, and you got the beautiful signed Four Horsemen copy because you went to a signing in East Illinois so you could finally get a hold of Tully and tell him, how good of a, I could have been a wrestler, but this fucking knee. Go put on some fucking deodorant. Get out of your fucking mother's basement. And for once in your life, have some fucking compassion about something. Because I'm not going to sit here and defend anyone who thought that was a good idea. Go fuck yourself. Seriously, go fuck yourself. Get the fuck out of wrestling. Wrestling is toxic as it is. I can't sit here and listen to all this toxic garbage about how some kid's getting overbooked. Go fuck yourself. These guys are making wrestling terrible. They're making us look like the carny trash that we are. So, I'm done. I fear that if I keep going, I'll start crying, and I'm not sure I can handle that on this show.
I fortunately have not lost my father like Sleazy has. I know when Sleazy's father died, all the shit that was talking, and I was about to flip even then. And if you listen to the last show, very critical of AEW. This is one thing where I will applaud AEW for doing. It's the right thing to do. And if you are going to sit there and complain, like Sleazy said, about a company helping out a family of one of their own who just passed away, yeah, go fuck yourself. Because I didn't know anything about this until Sleazy just read it. And it makes me upset. Because that is really low. Really, really low.
It's low for fucking smarks. That's a very low bar. What's that?
It's for a human. Fuck the smarts. It's low for a human being to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we have any better news?
Hey, Sleazy. I want to cheer you up a bit. Let me come over there and rub some oil. I know you're not very masculine, but I come rub some oil all over your fatty face and be like, oh, hey, boss. Johnny Ace is back at work in WWE in the talent relations department.
You just know how to cheer me up. Johnny Ace is back. Can we get a return for People Power? Please? Anyone? No?
Fuck People Power. I want to touch Carlito. Because after Royal Rumble, he was looking very masculine. I don't really want to rub some oil all over those biceps and all those veiny muscles.
So, Johnny, how is that marriage with the Bella going?
I think I knocked both Bella twins up at the same time.
That is People Power.
Fuck you. Fuck, I was going to say that too.
God,
Johnny
yeah.
Gay's voice, you asshole.
Stomped on his joke.
Dick. And now to bring us down a notch.
Oh, Jesus.
Charlotte Flair is starting a remake of Walking Tall.
God damn it.
Makes Sleazy
What's the problem
cry.
with that?
Well, for one, it's a movie that wasn't very good.
Well, hold on. One, it's a remake of a remake.
True.
Two, it was actually, the Rock version was actually okay. Three, why?
Okay.
Why? Like, that's the reason. Like, okay.
I mean, I'll say it, but then people are going to flag the show, but I don't really care. It's because it's 2021 and rah rah woman, hear me roar. Let's do a flip the roll. Like, you know what I mean?
To an extent, I agree with that, actually.
Yeah, you said it. You said what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason why they're doing it, and the thing is, it's one thing to flip it a little bit because it would be an interesting concept. I think they did it solely because they wanted Charlotte Flair in a movie and, well, hit two birds with one stone.
WWE to start banning slapping the leg during kicks?
Why?
Apparently someone did it on SmackDown and it was blatantly obvious, and Vince got pissed. But yet when Bella did it and it was blatantly obvious, he's okay with it.
Because he wasn't looking at her leg, if you know what I mean.
I mean, like, as dumb as it is, the premise behind it kind of makes sense, and like they're trying to buy into the believability of it. But now you're going to have people either really kicking each other hard to get that sound, or they're going to do kicks and stuff, and it's just not going to start. Like, if you're going to do that, what's the fucking point of throwing a super kick anymore?
WWE moves WrestleMania on-sale ticket date from today till to be determined. I guess they're still working out logistics.
They want to have 45,000 people there. I think they're trying to get more seating.
Yeah.
You don't want to release tickets and then release them after. It kind of makes sense.
Well, here's the thing: is that the department, or not department, CDC recommendations are going to get updated on April 1st. And there's a rumor that they're going to change the recommended social distancing requirement from 6 feet to 3 feet. Do I agree with that? I don't agree with that at all. But if it's close enough to be 3 feet away, then what's the point of doing social distancing?
Yeah.
So that's kind of stupid. But I wonder if they're waiting to hear if they're actually going to do. That's 4 days before.
No, that's 9 days before.
Is it 9 days before?
Yeah, it was. You said the 1st, right? April 1st.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because it's
like
the 10th
9th
and 11th.
and 10th, or 10th and 11th.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's 3rd and the 4th.
All right.
So I assume that they're going to wait till that date, listen to the CDC guidelines, and go, okay, we can put $60,000 in. That's what I think they're going to do.
Well, apparently Vince McMahon is furious over WWE staffers and talent not taking COVID seriously.
The company doesn't take it seriously. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, there's a reported outbreak in NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then also, I guess during Super Bowl, there are people having parties en masse. They're going to fucking, Florida still is holding concerts now or something. They're going on, wrestlers and staff are going en masse and blah, blah, blah.
It's a mess down there. This isn't a shock.
No.
This shouldn't be a shock.
No.
Whatever.
WWE signs 2 Australian wrestlers, Maddie Wahlberg and Steph D. Lander?
Don't know either one of them.
And that's kind of good in a sense. Like, because they're going to come in, they're going to have a fresh mind for you. Unless you want to look up and see what they're doing, new names coming in like that, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, I think that the same thing happened with TMDK when they came in. Because unless you knew specifically who the Mighty Don't Kneel were, you didn't know who they were going to be in NXT. And frankly, you forget that Shane Thorne was one of those 2 people that came in. The other one retired a long time ago.
Fucking slapjack.
Slapjack.
3 more.
Okay.
Andrade reportedly asked for his WWE release. WWE turned him down.
What did Booker T say about him?
His English is holding him back.
Yeah, his English is holding him back, which in some cases, I think I would agree, but in this case, I don't.
You know what? Even if you don't agree, but you believe that Booker T was correct in that, why don't they just get him a manager?
Another manager.
How about they don't let go of the one he had beforehand when he was fucking making shit ton of money? He was over like Rover.
I think that English thing is the main thing, because especially his run in NXT, sure, like.
My problem is that you sit there and shit on the guy for his English being held back when his entire run up to that point, he had Zelina Vega in his corner. And all of a sudden when Zelina Vega's gone, his English is holding him back. So obviously we can't use him anymore. What the fuck kind of logic is that?
That's why I don't agree with it.
Yeah. It's stupid logic. It really is.
I guess he hasn't been on TV since October. They have really no plans for him right now. So,
well, even Charlotte, from what I heard, even Charlotte was like, "I'll hook up with him. You know, we'll bring the on-screen romance on there, and just to get him on TV." And honestly, it's better than what he's doing now. How do you fuck up La Sombra?
Sin Cara. WWE Hall of Fame 2020-21 class will be together at the same time, or the ceremonies will be held together this year, which will be on a Tuesday, April 6th.
Okay.
And Molly Holly was the first 2021 class inductee.
Very, very good choice. Absolutely deserved it.
Oh my God, she's such a sweetheart in real life. I had the opportunity to meet her. I think that one plane trip I talked to DDP, Mean Gene, and Molly Holly.
That's a great trip.
Well, isn't that a weird foursome?
Yeah.
Well, it was out of Atlanta.
There's the
So Atlanta to Dallas.
Yo, dog, here's your new stable. Molly Holly, DDP, and Mean Gene Okerlund. And the Fat Man. The Enforcer Fat Man.
I'm the most over. One more news, and it's not even wrestling related.
Okay.
Kinda is. It has something to do with the XFL.
Okay.
We all know that The Rock bought the XFL.
Okay.
The XFL is in negotiations with the CFL, which is the Canadian Football League. Other negotiations of doing what? I have no clue. The Rock just came out and said, we're having negotiations with the Canadian Football League. I don't know if that means... Go ahead, Ryan.
My guess is CFL is going to do their own shit, the XFL will do their own shit, and then they'll have the winner playoff or whatever the fuck they're going to call their championship.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's not bad.
Which makes sense because even the CFL back in the day, and I think The Rock has, like, it kind of does go to wrestling because I think The Rock has a special place of the CFL with that where he played for it. You know, he played for the league, right?
Yes.
So, if I remember correctly, isn't the CFL football field longer?
Yes.
10 yards longer and one less down.
And the XFL is shorter, right?
It's the same size as the NFL.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep.
The former two-time NWA champion, Truth, has become the first man to hold the title 50 times. The first time they traded belts on Raw. R-Truth wanted his baby back, so he gave him all the Stone Cold merchandise. Bad Bunny was just like, okay, I got all this cool shit here. You can have your baby back.
That makes sense.
The greatest champion who's ever lived.
Ever.
Bad Bunny?
Anything.
Yes.
I'll go back to the you stepping on a Lego thing, but you know, what do I know?
You can find that on thewrestlingshow.com. I'm wearing that shirt, by the way. What is it, Ryan Buck 85 on Twitter?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I got one. I am at TWS Sleazy on Twitter. Fatman is
TWS Fatman.
We are at Sleazy Fatman on Twitter. And what do they call that? The Instagram gimmick.
The Instaface.
Facebook, Sleazy and the Fat Man. YouTube, at Sleazy and the Fat Man. Expect watch-alongs to be on that channel. Anything else?
Ooh, we can watch alongs.
Eventually, yes. I think that's it for tonight. So for Sleazy.
For the Fat Man.
This is The Wrestling Show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Peace.
I'm a truth that you seem to run from. I'm an army of one. I'm a clip in your gun. I'm the pain in the game. The bloodshed in your name. When there's nothing to gain, I'm the world gone sad.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.